All right.
I love it. We need to get you like an actual.
I know. Maybe our your husband or my boyfriend will get it for us.
That would be cute.
Our anniversary for Did We Really? We get a little thing. Okay, yes. Sorry. We're recording on both cameras now.
Take 2 again.
Welcome back.
Yes. Hello, guys. Welcome back. I'm Lo.
I'm Destiny.
And this is Did We Really podcast.
I didn't know where else you were going to go.
That's
I was waiting for it.
We're here. We're here now.
Do you have anything random for us today, Lauren? Probably
you
not.
Put me on the spot.
Yeah. I was waiting to see if anything scrolled up on you this week as we were, doom scrolling on TikTok, Instagram.
No, I've been actually off of TikTok this week.
Not what?
Kind of, yeah.
You know what? The other day, I actually told myself that I had to put my phone away for a few hours because right now my life is
busy
content and learning and doing all these things. So it's glued to my hand. And I was like, I'm putting it down. And I did. And I felt so good. I got some good sleep. I was like, oh, this is what I need.
I know. I have been using the sleep thing on the watch.
Wait, do you sleep with it on your hand?
Yeah. So I've done it a couple times. And it's actually really interesting. Knowing what kind of sleep I've got.
Yeah.
One night I didn't wake up at all, which is, I know, it was crazy.
You got a full night's rest.
Thank you.
Round of applause. We have something special for you guys. Let's go ahead and roll the intro.
Test. Can you hear me?
It's Des and Lo, and this is the Did We Really podcast.
Killed it. I love it.
I want the tea. When you give me a story, give me the tea. All right, guys, we have a special guest for you today.
Yes.
We have Chelsea Bailey, and I'm going to let her introduce herself because she has way better words than I can to ever describe what she does and who she is. So go ahead, Chelsea. Let the people know. Who are you?
I'm so excited. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Chelsea. I am, first of all, I'm a mom of a 3-year-old and also a life coach, somatic practitioner, and I love to say nervous system energetics coach. Just all in on body healing, mind, and just being able to give women an opportunity to really feel their full connection to self and really embracing who they are, coming back to who they are. And so that's kind of what I teach. I feel like I teach it's confidence and coming back into your power, but from a different way than we've all ever learned before. Yeah. And that's just really all about connecting back into our bodies and knowing how our biology is and how that's affecting how we move into the world and all the things like that. Self-sabotage. I don't like to necessarily say that word, and I can go into more on that, but that's how we know it. So I always say it that way. But
yeah,
just so I coach moms specifically. That's my niche, my go-to, because I feel so passionate because that's where I started my journey.
Yeah.
But so I coach moms on just really getting out of that survival mode, getting out of that go mode and just always feeling self-sacrificing and just stuck and busy in our responsibilities without being wait, is this really all there is? Who am I? I want to get my spark back. I want to feel like I am pursuing and who am I? Who am I without the mom role? Because we just get so stuck in the mom role. And I mean, really as women in general, but especially for moms, we just get so stuck in the mom role and wearing the mom hat that we can lose ourselves, and we can lose ourselves in anxiety and stress and just all the pressures of life and the expectations, and then add, everything that we're dealing with and our circumstances and all that stuff. But it's all about just teaching women to really understand the biology and what's going on in your body and actually coming back home to yourself so that you can be in your power, be in control, make the right aligned decisions for you and your family.
Yeah.
Because if we're disconnected, then we're going to be, doubting ourselves and overthinking everything and not really mothering and doing and living the way that we want to. So, so I really just bring nervous system energetics, and I love the spirituality piece. I blend science and spirituality to really teach moms the whole encompassing world of how they're experiencing life and how we can use that to help us live the best life that we can.
Yeah.
So.
You are speaking my language.
I know. I was like, I'm so glad she introduced herself.
No, I'm just like,
I already went off on a whole thing.
I love all of that. We've been, like side note, we've been talking a lot about therapy and anxiety, and now I'm like, ChatGPT and my therapist, like, back off. I'm gonna it's time for Chelsea to shine. It's funny because like I had a therapy session today, and this is kind of what I'm going down, this whole of like, who am I now after 10 years of being a mom? So
10 years, yeah, girl.
Yeah. Yes, you can see it on my face. I know.
I had no idea until you said 10, and I was like, dang, she's way deeper than I am.
Just a little bit. But yeah, so how did this all come about? Was there a moment, or was it just kind of like a slow roll into like, I need to do something? And then was it like, oh, I can share this with other people?
Yeah. I've always kind of been into like mindset work and like just really using our minds and like how we view life as, I've always been into that. So I kind of feel like I was always doing that before I had my daughter. But then fast forward, I had my daughter, and my world completely turned upside down. And you ask anybody in my life, they will tell you like, I'm such an optimistic person. I'm so positive, and I just have like a good view on life. But motherhood took me down, and my husband was even like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "No, I'm not." But I remember the moment I sat there with him. And funny story, it was actually the day that we signed to get the keys to our house, like a house that was like brand new that we built. It was like everything. I had everything that, from the outside looking in, like you could have wanted. Like I just had this beautiful new baby with a husband that I love and that supports me. We just got a brand new house. Like everything is great, right? And like the day that we got our keys, we went to go eat before that. And I like looked at him and I was like, I'm depressed. And I was like, it's not her. It's not like postpartum depression, which there are differences. And I was like, it's not her. It's like something inside of me is like unhappy and it's just off. Like I was like, I don't know what it is. And I was trying to like listen to the podcast to like hype myself up again and like get me feeling back inspired again. I was reading books, and like I even tried therapy, and it was like just saying things that I already knew, or I was just already talking through that I already like talked through within myself. So I felt like I wasn't really getting anywhere, that like it felt like something in my body, like it felt like something deeper. And so I don't know, I love the universe. I just felt called to like go deeper into it. And I knew I had always wanted to be a coach, actually, since before I had my daughter. So I was like, okay. So a friend of mine that I teach cycle with, so I also teach cycle for those of you who don't know. And so she was a coach. And so I was like, hey, so I knew her, and I was like, hey, can you just like, I need a coach. Like I need to get out of this rut. I don't know what's going on. And she's definitely all about, she coaches like breath work specifically. So she's all about like breath work and connecting with the body and like all that stuff. And so I only was with her for like 3 months, and like 2 months in, and I was like a completely different person, because we did like deep, like trauma healing breath work. And, so once I started doing breath work with her, I was like, what is this? Everybody needs to be doing this. Mm-hmm. And I like took a deep dive into it. And so now I've got all these different certifications, which I love, because I just love to learn. That's part of my human design, which, do you guys know human design? We'll have to talk about that on another time.
We should.
Yeah, I know. I'm like writing notes.
I will share that with you guys next time. We'll have another episode on human design. But you can look up like your human design chart. And basically, I'm not an expert in that, but I do know like the foundations. Like there's like certain levels that you can get educated in, and I'm only level 1. So I'm not like a master, but it's really cool because it just validates like your own experience. But anyways, so I love like knowledge and like getting to the truth and like understanding how things work. That's just how I function. So it makes sense that when I found something that inspired me, I went deep and like got all these certifications, and I was like, people need this, like moms need this, like women need this. And yeah, so once I started really putting my body first and doing breath work, and like also to giving myself the space to like focus on me, everything changed. And I remember like my first session with her, I bawled my eyes out because it wasn't anything. We were only like 2 minutes in, and I was like, I'm just really proud of myself. I was like, I'm so proud that I just invested in not just investment in money, but like invested in time. And I made the commitment to like, I didn't even ask my husband. I was like, I'm going to be doing this on like Mondays. So like you got our daughter, right?
Yeah.
Like you're going to,
Yeah.
like I just like committed and I was all in, and it changed my life, and it led me to like where I am now. And like she still follows me. She doesn't coach anymore, but she's just always like, I'm so proud of you.
Aww.
And I'm just like, you changed my life, and we all have that impact on each other.
Yeah.
I do want to back up too, but like, okay, because when I reached out to her, we all aligned and like it sounded so good. And then she was like, all right, let's go. And then something in me resisted. And I was like, nope, I can figure it out on my own. I can do it on my own. I'll figure it out. And so I waited 6 months, and 6 months goes by, nothing had happened. I felt the same. And then that's the moment that I was like, all right, I'm hiring you. We're doing this. Let's go. And I thought that hopefully that resonates with people, because I tell people all the time, I'm like, the part of you that wants something more, the part of you that's ready to like invest time, money, space into yourself is coming up for a reason. Like trust that part of you and like just take the leap. Like that's just fear holding you back, and us like as women feeling like we just got to solve it on our own. We got to figure it out on our own. We got to do it on our own. We can find the answer. And it's like, yeah, maybe you could find the answer, but it would take you so much longer. But even then, who knows? You might 5 years down the line and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm exactly where I was. So it's about just got to really.
I know.
I know. I always tell that story because I'm
so
like,
good. Yeah.
I know it resonates with people. Like,
dude,
it really does.
so much. I mean, a lot of this podcast is, we initially started this because we wanted to share people's stories. Like Lauren and I sat down and we were like, we actually have good stories to share, and a lot of people can relate to us, but we want to be able to share other people's stories because we want people to know like they're not alone, you're not stuck. Like there's even just like random people, like I want you to understand that, people feel what you feel, and like people can get through it, or you can find another pathway. Like it's just different, but
you're not alone.
Yeah.
basically.
And that's what, we've struggled with being moms, but like I'm just like, keep talking, Chelsea.
I know. This is like a sermon for us right now.
This was meant to be. I want to ask, when you talked about breath work and you talk about, it helping with trauma, I think I always get kind of like lost with what that means. Like, how is it that my breathing is going to be help relieve like some trauma, even if you don't like. I've gone through your posts and I know you said it like, and some of it you're like, I don't even know why I've been called back to this time. But like, how is it that you find like what was traumatizing you, or where that trauma is like started to build up? How does all that work?
Ooh, I love all of that. Well, first let me go into breath work, because this type of breath work that I do is it's a more like somatic style breath work. It's not like functional breath work like we think, or just breathe. Like that's like functional, like daily, like little, that's just little breath work to like help essentially like regulate your nervous system in a sense, which I'm sure we'll go into. But this type of breath work that I'm trained in is like, it's trauma healing. Like it's very specific that you have to do with a practitioner. So I do it with my clients, and like they lay down and we get into this full like immersion. And basically what it is like, so trauma and like old wounds and even like suppressed emotions, they get stuck and stored in the body, in our cells. Like they're literally stored in our cells in our body. So our body always remembers. Yeah. And so unless we are like doing something like that's why somatics are so powerful. Like, and not just like, breathing, like just, breathe. Like that's not necessarily going in and healing. I mean, it's helping you in the moment, but this breath work goes so much deeper, because it basically what it does is it allows your conscious thinking brain. So like the one that's judgment, criticizing, feels fear, like all those things, like that quiets down because you go into like a deep state. Basically, this type of breath work brings your brain waves down. Like it lowers your brain waves. So like whenever, how when you're little, like they say, 0 to 7, your brain is in theta, and it's very like, your brain's like a sponge. You know how they say that? I mean, it's real. It's true. Like, because their brains are in such a low frequency state that their brain, their subconscious mind is taking in every single thing. So that's why our childhood really is an important huge piece that can't be overlooked into how we are functioning now.
Yeah.
But that is, so whenever we do this type of breath work, we go into that low brainwave state because as adults, our brains don't function there anymore. It has to be either through this type of breath work or hypnotherapy, or if you've been meditating for like a really, 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 really long time, like actually like it takes
really
years,
hard
years of meditation to like even be able to calm your brain to that low.
Yeah.
You know, like monk style. But like for the most part, it's this type of breath work and hypnotherapy, which I'm certified in both because I was like, give me the right, just tell me where like the deepest thing that's going to work and I will learn it.
Yeah.
So so it's pretty much those two. And once you get to that low brainwave state, you're opening the door to your subconscious mind and to your childhood programming and to your programming, to your identity, to all those things. And so when you do this breath work, you give your body the safety to like open up and like release some of those. But I love this style of breath work because it's like you don't have to say anything. Like you just breathe deep with me and then I say things, like I guide you through things, and I'll even like based on what you're experiencing, like I'll feed you like not necessarily affirmations, but like storytelling with like things of like that you're working on. So that way, while our subconscious mind is open, you're taking these things in that I'm speaking while you're breathing. So you're healing and also like recreating, you know, your sense of self and like all those things. So it's really, really powerful.
This sounds so
Sign us up.
enticing.
I know. It's so good. I'm telling you.
We're laughing about it, but it sounds so enticing to me because I know I keep bringing up therapy, but like today, the words that came out of my mouth were, I don't remember my childhood.
Yeah.
And I can't. And so I'm like help me. And she's like, well, we've got to do the work. And I get that.
Yeah.
So this is
and I do want to like
interesting
speak
to
on
me.
that because like therapists are great, right? Like therapists are great, but this is such a really powerful concept that I always am telling people, even if I'm not coaching them. Like I always try to shout it to the rooftops because it's really important. So like our nervous system and our subconscious mind and then our conscious mind. So our nervous system and our subconscious mind are like this, like the same. Like when people talk about like mindset, I mean, it does encompass like subconscious mind work. It's not just the conscious, but one thing is, and I feel like a lot of people know this now, but 95% of your behaviors, the way you're acting, the way you're showing up, the decisions that you make is all driven by your subconscious mind. And only 5% of what we're experiencing in our life is from our conscious mind. So when I knew that, I was like, all right, we got to work with the subconscious because it's holding everything. So that's number one, is that our subconscious mind is literally driving 95, some argue 97% of our life and the way that we are acting, moving, all the things, our habits, all of it. So when we do talk therapy, right, we're only talking from conscious, right? We're not doing that like deep, like connecting to the body and connecting to safety to allow your subconscious mind to like open up a little bit. You're just talking from like what you can remember, which is only your conscious mind. So that's only 5%, maybe less, of like what you can even remember. And the other thing is like, so the way that our body communicates with each other. So like our nervous system, so how they say like body to brain, brain to body, like only 80% of the 80% of the communication that we're experiencing is actually coming from our body up to our brain, and only 20% is coming from our brain to our body. So if we're only doing conscious, like CBT therapy again, if we're only doing the conscious mind work, we're only hitting the 20% of the way that our body's even communicating with each other. You know, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, so if you're not like going into the body and like creating safety in the body and healing the body, then you're missing like a huge piece of like, you know, what your body's experiencing. Like, especially when we talk about like stress and anxiety and all those things, it's coming from your body. It's not coming from your mind when you get anxious.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's like a faulty alarm system. I mean, think of like your nervous system as that.
Oh boy, my
It's
batteries are...
Oh, right. We all, I mean, honestly. Yeah, like I always say, like, you know that like you know, those cameras that you got on your backyard and the wind blows a tree and it's like beep, beep, beep. But it's like, all right, no one's really there. But like, that's what our body's like experiencing. It's like, oh my God, we're in danger. We're going to die. This is a threat. And then it's like nothing.
Yeah.
But it's all about, it all comes down to like how our body feels safe in our environment. And a big piece of that is actually like what we're perceiving in our reality. So if we see a long to-do list, our body thinks, oh crap, we're about to die.
I know that feeling all too well.
Oh, yeah, Lauren. Well, this is I'm like, okay, let me stay here.
I feel like you had another question. Didn't you have another question? You were like, how do we go back into those memories?
Yeah. So you said your breath work, it kind of takes you back, or it helps with the trauma. So tell me how
I do
it
breath
gets
work,
there.
but also like when I'm working with clients to like recover some of those trauma imprints, as we do like, first we get the body safe. So we do just like a little breath, like a little relaxation, little breath work or whatever. And I have specific techniques that I've been taught in where once I get them safe, it's kind of like somatic experiencing, somatic tracking, whatever. We tune into our emotions. And that's a key piece because when we hold like beliefs, when beliefs get formed in our body, when trauma happens, when emotions happen, it's because we were feeling a big energetic experience, and energy is emotion. So emotions, we were feeling something highly emotional. So that's why we recall sometimes a lot more like negative memories than happy. It's either really negative or it's happy, right? Like you don't remember like the things in between because there was a high emotional tie to it. So you were either really happy or like really sad or whatever that was. So we go to those memories through like the emotions that you were feeling. So we do like tap into the body, like somatic tracking. And once they get relaxed, it's kind of like hypnotherapy and somatics at the same time. So I'll prompt them. So people might know it as timeline therapy or rapid resolution therapy. And that's what it is. So I get them relaxed and then I ask them specific questions that takes them back to a certain age. And when our body's relaxed and we're regulated, we're a lot more connected to our intuition.
Yeah.
And we're a lot more connected to our subconscious too. So once we're relaxed and we're feeling safe, and then I give suggested things, then these memories or these events just pop up through their subconscious. And I'm always like, trust the first thing that comes, because that's what your body's like giving you. Your subconscious mind is giving you. So like with my clients, I swear every session they remember a certain experience and they're like, oh my gosh, I haven't thought about that in a long time. Yeah. And it's just because of the technique that I use that we're able to go in and like let the body bring those up to the surface, and so that we can heal them.
Yeah.
But because other than that, like your body is again always trying to keep you safe. Like if it always comes back to that, and that's why I think coaching is so powerful too. Because even for me, I have a coach, because there's some like think of it like your blind spots. Like your body's trying to protect you. It's not going to just let you bring up these old like memories if it was really traumatizing to you on your own. Like it's not going to let you bring that up because it's protecting you from feeling that emotional experience again. So having a coach to be able to to support you and feel safe enough for you to bring that up and out, then it's like, oh, okay. It's like your body's always going to protect you from it's like the dark like closet in the room. You just throw everything in, keep the light off. It's like you can go in and clean the room, or you just leave it in your house and it's gonna it's still gonna be there, but it's all about just bringing light back to it and giving your body enough safety to trust to bring those back out and know that it's not gonna hurt you. It's actually really, every one of my clients says it's really freeing. It doesn't hurt to bring up these memories, because they're you're in a state of healing and connection, and you're moving through it. You see it differently, right? Because back then we didn't have the capacity to move through that or heal through that or whatever. We didn't know. We weren't taught that. But now, we're so much stronger than we used to be. So it's we can see it from a new lens too, and that really helps. So that's kind of how I wanted to answer your question of how you go back and find it, because it does take a very specific things, but it just comes down to feeling safe in your body and working with the body to bring these things up.
Yeah. That's all just brand new to me. I don't, I know I've heard about breath work, and I know I've heard about obviously hypnosis and all that stuff, but that's just crazy. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, it's really cool. I do it on myself, but I'm so obsessed that I have a coach who's continually, because we have goals, we have dreams, I love to work with ambitious women who are still growing, still wanting to achieve, procrastination, people pleasing. Those are all nervous system learned states. They're not like your personality, you know? It's like your body's always trying to protect you from something. So if anything, ask that question to yourself all the time. Like, okay, when I'm feeling resistance, or I'm like, feel like I want to shrink into my shell, or I'm feeling stressed, or I'm feeling anxious, or, you know, I can't rest. I know we've talked, you know, you guys send me this, but it's like, okay, what is my body trying to protect me from?
Yeah.
And usually you'll get so much clarity from that in itself, because it always comes down to that.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I do want to ask about survival mode. You know, you mentioned that up top, and then again, go scrolling through your Instagram.
Scroll.
I think that we connect with this survival mode. Again, like I've been a mom for my daughter's 14. So like, yeah. So
girl, you look good.
Thanks. It's our genes. But I think in an earlier episode, probably like season 1, we kind of talked about, I know I mentioned it, like I felt like I was in survival mode first honestly until this past year. Like I've been on survival mode, just kind of making sure like, you know, we were taken care of. I was getting my money so I could, you know, pay for everything that I could for my kid, and just I was working, I was being a mom, and like I still had like my little, you know, like side life, whatever. But I know like it finally clicked to me, and I finally like took a leap of faith. And so like we did this. I quit a corporate job. Like we started doing something different that was out of our comfort zone. And I definitely don't feel in survival mode. I feel a lot more calm, but I would like to understand a little bit more, because when I used it as a general term, just because we know like survival mode is like I'm just trying
all the time now.
Yeah. So I want to understand more of like what you mean, especially saying like survival mode is in disguise. So tell me what you mean by survival mode.
Yeah. And I think that's one thing that also too really resonates with me, because when we become moms too, especially, that's kind of what happens, is like all the things that we've been like kind of like pretending to just work through and fight through like as women before moms, like, you know, just constantly hustling and trying to achieve and just do all the things. And then you throw motherhood into it, and it's like, okay, everything just exploded in my face and I can't ignore what I'm feeling anymore. And like I turns out I had chronic anxiety, and I just didn't even know it, because I was so disconnected from my body. And my body, it took a long time for me to like, even just breathing in through my nose and out through my mouth was like really hard, because my body was so anxious, and I didn't even know it because I wasn't paying attention. Yeah. I wasn't paying attention to what I was feeling, because I was so focused on what's outside of me, what's the next task, what am I working towards, like what am I doing, that I was like not even thinking about how I was feeling. I wasn't taking it seriously, and I just wasn't paying attention. And so really survival mode is basically like your body is stuck in dysregulation, essentially. And I do want to clear this up too, because I feel like it's thrown out a lot, which it's great. I'm glad like people are talking more about nervous system regulation and dysregulation and all the things. But one thing that I feel like is not said is that it's not, nervous system dysregulation is not just like, oh, you can just do like some breathing and then you can come back into regulation. I mean, sometimes, but for the most part, dysregulation doesn't just mean your body's just like getting anxious. It's like your body's stuck there. That's what dysregulation is. So like think of like kind of like a pendulum swing, you know? Our body naturally is going to go into fight or flight, right? We need that to keep us safe. Like if my daughter was walking to a street and a car's coming, I need my body to go into fight or flight to grab her and pull her out of the street, right? And like protect her. So that makes sense. But when it's like I'm looking at a giant to-do list and my body's going into fight or flight, that's where we're missing, we're getting things confused. Yeah. And the problem is, it's especially with mothers, and why this is so important is like if we're not doing the work to like really focus on our nervous system and healing it and allowing ourselves to come back into safety and regulation, then we're just adding stress on top of stress on top of stress on top of stress to where it's chronic stress, and our body can actually hold chronic stress as a trauma too. So it's like we're just building stress on top of stress, so where eventually, like, which is already kind of happening, it doesn't, you know, for me, it happened before my daughter, and I just didn't realize it, but like your nervous system could get stuck on one side of the pendulum swing and it won't go back on its own. So like if we're not bringing it back ourselves through trying to like bring safety to the body, regulate it, then it's going to stay stuck. And that's what dysregulation is. It's not just like coming into fight or flight. Like, that's not it. It's like when you go to fight or flight and your body doesn't know how to come back on its own, that's dysregulation. It's like the stuck. It stays stuck there. Okay. And that's really hard to come out of because it's like your body like thinks that that's the new normal now, especially for moms, right? Like, this is the new normal, busy and being stressed and anxious. This is the new normal.
Yeah.
And so unless we do something to snap ourselves like out of that, then eventually that's going to lead to burnout, right? Like burnout and like depression. I mean, that's what happened to me. Like, I was depressed, and it was because I was just ignoring my body for so long and just doing, hyperachieving, you know. So I was definitely the high functioning anxiety person. Didn't even know it. I wouldn't have labeled that as me, but that was me, you know. And it wasn't until I learned this that I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's what I was dealing with.
I feel like I've definitely would label myself that now. It didn't really show up in my body until recently. I thought I was doing all the right things. I thought I was going to the gym, eating healthy, but it was just I don't know, it's again the brain body thing. And so one day, Des would probably laugh at me, but I had it up to here with my anxiety. And you say that you couldn't really recognize it in your body. It was always on my mind. Every little thing that I felt, I was like, oh, this is like, I'm anxious. It's going to just keep, and I would try to bring myself down, but I couldn't. And eventually I just snapped, and my body literally gave up on me while I was driving my car one day. And it was really scary. I'll probably tear up talking about it. I just had a panic attack. But it was like one of the scariest things I've ever experienced.
Driving, I had a panic attack driving too.
Dude, it was bad. I had to call, my kids had to call 911, which was terrible. So like ever since then, I've just been like, I know this was me at therapy today too. I
know. I'm going to hug you after this.
Yeah, I know. I told her I'd cry about everything, but it was just.
That's a good thing. Cry it out.
I know. I feel so much better afterwards, Destiny. I give her so much crap about not wanting to cry. She's always like, she likes to smile at me when I cry. Evil person. I'm just kidding.
It's my body. I'm just like, if I smile, will she stop crying?
I do. You help me. You're my safe space.
I'm just very awkward. I don't know. Like, do I look sad when you look at me? I'm like, just.
I know. Hold on, Destiny. Do you cry? Do you not cry? Does it feel uncomfortable? We're going to go into this.
Please, yes, let's do it.
Yeah, it feels really uncomfortable for me to cry. I will. We actually had a whole podcast about this not too long ago.
I need some coaching on this one.
I just don't like it. Look, I'll cry by myself. It's fine when I'm alone, but like in moments, when people cry, I get watery eyed. But I'm like, just hold it in. Maybe that's why I smile so much. We're like. I don't know. It's just something I've always kind of like struggled with. We were talking about it mainly because it was Easter weekend, and we're the family that goes to church, you know, on Easter weekend. So we went, and I really love some worship music. But anytime I walk into the church and they start the worship music, it's like instantly, like the moment I hear it going, like I just automatically, like my eyes water. And like the main reason is because, you know, after worship, they're like, okay, turn to everybody and say hello. And I'm like,
I'm not ready.
I just bawled my like entire life out. Like I don't know what, but I do not care for it. I know I've again, I'm just on your Instagram, so I knew you talked about it, but I don't know. It's just a struggle for me. I really, it's okay. Like I can't take that wall down. So I'm like, I'll cry at home by myself.
Okay.
However you do it.
But that's programming, you know, we don't need to go into that, but that's programming. Like you just don't feel safe to cry. Like maybe, and I feel like there's a tie there. Like you feel safe to cry alone, but there's something with like crying in front of people.
I think it's mainly like my daughter. I don't like to cry in front of her, and like she's complete opposite of me. She will cry, and she will cry about everything. We got into it today. And I'm like, Lord.
Bless you,
I'm glad you can cry, but stop. I had to actually tell myself. I don't ever tell her to stop. I'm just like, can you just chill out. It's not that serious, but okay.
I know. And that's something that I like do work with moms a little bit too. It's not like the biggest I mean, I feel like for the moms that I work with, they're ambitious, so they're working on like their own personal journey. But that is something that I've talked about in like on my social media. Like you said, like I did the Triggered Mom Detox like free challenge thingy a few weeks back, and it was all about, you know, like what's triggering you in motherhood. And a lot of times for a lot of moms, it's like when our kids are having big emotions, we don't feel, again, and it's not that moms would be able to say this, but like we don't feel safe enough to be in the presence of their big emotions because we potentially were taught that that's not safe. Like, oh, you know, like when you're little, oh, like, oh, don't cry. And like even my mom, you know, it's like our parents were taught that. They didn't know. And it's like they did their best that they could.
Yeah.
And but it's like little things like that, those moments where you just tell your kid like, oh, don't cry, stop crying. And like when my parents were saying that when Blair was little, I was like, don't tell her not to cry. Like, don't. I said, I'm always like, you can cry. But you know, it's like just those little things. We think like trauma has to be like these big moments, but it doesn't. It's like, it can be that like, oh, be quiet. Like, you know, like be quiet, or no, don't, you know, don't get angry. Like being angry is bad. Being angry is mean, or, you know, just really thinking about like, what was I taught? Like what was said around me when I was young, and how is that showing up in my life now? Like, you know, for most of us girls, it's like we were taught to just be quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Just be quiet. I mean, one of my clients literally told me as we were doing some healing, like, cause she's, she comes from a different culture where it's like, oh, just do what the boys say. Like, oh, just do whatever is going to make them feel good. And I was like, oh my God, like that literally tingles my body. I'm like, what? No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like we're just those little things of like, oh, no one needs to hear your opinion, or like no one, like, oh, just be quiet. Like, oh, stay silent, you know? And then so it makes sense why if something comes up in life now and I have this great thought or this great idea or this great opinion that I want to like share and express myself, why my body holds me back and why I can't. Because of that imprint when I was young, it told me like, it's not safe to be yourself. It's not safe to speak out. It's not safe to share your opinion. It's not safe to cry. It's not safe to get angry. Like anger is like one of the most powerful emotions that we can experience. Like we all get angry. It's just about like expressing anger in a safe environment versus not. Like, you know, you don't hit somebody when you're angry. You just like let your anger out, you know, do what the body wants to do. But anyways, just little things like that.
Yeah.
I think this is kind of a tie into all of that. So when we have guests on, we like to talk to listeners and friends and be like, this person's coming on, and you know, I feel like you might benefit from this episode. Is there anything that you would like to ask them? So this kind of ties into children's emotions and being a mom and having to deal with their emotions while you're trying to regulate your own.
Oh, yeah.
Is there, I mean, what can someone do that may not be able to reach out to you right away for breath work or for, or reach out to a therapist or anything? Is there anything that maybe could help them in the moment, or maybe the advice that you would give them to be able to maybe stop and breathe for a second and realize where it's coming from inside of them and how that might be affecting their children? Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah, because usually two things happen. We either, like, our kid throws a tantrum and we either yell, right? We snap and yell and tell them, like, like, why did you spill that? I told you not, you know, whatever comes out, we either yell, and that's the fight, right? Fight or flight, or we want to run away and we just can't be in that space. Or we freeze, and that's another nervous system, more complex, but like, or we freeze, we just stand there, we don't know what to do, or LOL, we people please, here, just take this candy, just stop crying, like, oh my gosh. And that's like the people pleasing, right? Like, oh my gosh, just stop whatever you're doing because I don't feel comfortable with it. Let me just make you happy, you know, even though that's not, you're like, I don't want to just give my daughter more candy. It's, I think first is bringing awareness to whatever your specific reaction is. Like, I have one client who, like, she was like, I would always run away, like, in the other room. And sometimes that can be helpful. Like, if you know you're the person that yells, then you can then walk away so that your body is, like, like not in that same environment anymore, that's actually like a really powerful thing. Like if you change your environment like instantly, then your body can like regulate and feel safe again. Sometimes like the environment that you're in, if there's like big emotions and it just sets you off, like just moving to another room can actually be really helpful. But it's really just bringing awareness to like what your first overall gut reactions are. You know, is it really uncomfortable for you and you want to yell or maybe not even yell, you just get really frustrated and you feel that tense like frustration, like your skin is boiling, you know, and so bringing awareness to it, A. And then B is, I mean, it's still a really powerful thing. It's hard to do, but you can, definitely, breathe.
Yeah.
Breathe. And what's funny is like a lot of people are like, I'll go more into this, but a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, just breathing isn't working. You know, like I hear a lot of moms say that, like, I can't just breathe. It's not enough. Yeah, it's not enough. There's a lot more in there. But like part of that is like trusting that the breath is actually really helpful. Like I think a lot of times we try breathing 1 or 2 times and then we're like, oh, it's not working. That doesn't work. And it's like, no, you just gotta first believe that it can work. Because really breath is the only thing that we can do to the only direct access we get to the nervous system. Like all the other regulating tools out there that you might see, it's not a direct access to the body like breath is. So breath actually is really, really, really powerful if you just trust that it will work. If you're like, oh, breathing's not going to work, like just keep breathing and like practice it over and over and over again, because it's about being able to rewire your nervous system. And we do that by teaching our body to stay in the discomfort. So if your child is crying or getting angry or having a tantrum, if you want to run away, don't run away. Like sit there and just don't say anything. Let them have their tantrum because they're also in fight or flight too. Like that's actually like one thing that we shouldn't do is try to get them to calm down because they can't just calm down. Like let them have their moment. Let them have their moment and you just sit there and just hold space with them. Just sit there and just like if you have to like say in your head like I'm safe to be here. Their emotions are safe. My like whatever they're feeling is safe. Whatever I'm feeling is safe. I'm safe, I'm good, and just breathe and
what
just
happens
sit
when
in the
you're
discomfort.
trying to run out the door for school and you're late? Do you sit there
oh my
and you
God,
breathe?
I love that. Yeah, right.
Drag them, you breathe.
Yeah. Breathe. Stop. My daughter will do it now. It's really great. So you mean like if you're running out the door, like with kids and you're like running late?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, can like
That's
breathe.
just a
I know, like
good
breathe.
thing.
Yeah. Let them do their thing, right? But one thing that is really, at that point, it's like you're already in the urgency, right? And so like our body, I try not to be late anymore because that's actually one thing that, LOL, my mom used to always be late everywhere. So of course, it would always be me. Like I'm late because I grew up with my mom being late everywhere and it not being a big deal. Mm-hmm. So I literally did a hypnotherapy for myself on that one because I was like, I just cannot be late. But anyways.
Ryan's going to hear this and he's going to be like, you need to go sleep. He's going to be like, you will never be late again.
It's like our nervous system learned that, you know?
Yeah.
But one is like rushing actually feels like a threat to our body. Mm-hmm. So one, try to like give yourself more time than you think. We always do that. We always think like, oh, I can get ready in 20 minutes. And then it always takes longer. Like, it does. Like, I know it does. So give yourself more time so you can be present. And really one thing that's helped me is take one step at a time, like one step at a time. Because, so like if you're rushing out the door and your like child is like kicking and screaming, like it's okay to like, because I've been there, like, right, like just pick them up, let them have their tantrum. It's going to be chaotic until you get them in the car and you're driving. Like, okay, let it be chaotic for a second. Just sit in that. And then once you get the moment in the car and you're like, they're buckled in or they're in their chair and then you're driving to wherever you need to go, then it's like, okay, I'm safe. I'm good. We made it in the car. We're on our way. If we're late, we'll figure it out. Like just trusting that like it's okay. And I love to like even tell my clients like, play it forward, because a lot of times your body is like imagining the worst. You're imagining the worst. You're imagining that like, oh my God, we're going to, I don't know, whatever you're imagining, your body's imagining the worst. And by spiraling into that, we're only keeping our body in like danger mode. So just taking it one step at a time, so I'll tell myself, all right, just get her out the door. Just focus on what you're doing right now. there's nothing you can do, right? Like they're going to have their tantrum, pick them up, throw them over your dang shoulder, whatever, get them in the car. And then once you have that moment to just take a few breaths and like repeat to yourself, like, I'm safe, it's good. If, just trusting that you'll figure it out. And because usually it's not as bad as we think, like,
Yeah.
So I always say, play it forward. Like, okay, if you are late, then what's going to happen? What's the worst that's going to happen? Somebody's going to like slap your wrist. I don't know. Like they're going to tell you like, oh, hey, probably don't be late. You're like, all right, okay. But like, that's the one thing that we don't do is we just imagine the worst and then we just stay there.
Yeah.
And we're trying to control the situation. Sometimes that, especially with toddlers, that just like kind of can't be controlled. We do our best and like just compassion is the biggest thing. Honestly, building compassion is one of the things that has like truly saved me. Because even in those hard moments when motherhood is hard, we are going to be rushing because, my daughter just threw up on her shirt and now I got to change her shirt and we were on time and now we're not on time. It's like, okay, just like I will change her shirt and I'll breathe. So I am aware of that. And I'll be like, all right, breathe. It's going to be okay. I'm just going to change her shirt.
You have to do
We're
it
gonna
anyway.
Just go. We got to do it anyway. And then
Yeah.
we'll get in the car. And then once you get a minute to like, just reaffirm like, okay, I'm good. Like, I'm good. I'm safe and breathe. And just like my favorite breathwork technique is, and maybe you guys have heard of it, but like the 4-7-8, where it's like, and really it's not about the number because I will say I struggled with chronic anxiety. So I couldn't hold my breath for that long and exhale for that long because I was so anxious AF. So it's not about the number. As long as your exhale is longer than your inhale, that's what's calming and regulating to the body. So that's why so what I did was like 3 and 6. I didn't even hold my breath at the time, just like breathe in for 3 counts, exhale for 6 counts. As long as, if it's double, that's even better. But like as long as your exhale is longer than your inhale, that is signaling safety to the body.
I try to do 4 and 8, and 8 is hard. Let
8's
me
hard.
tell you,
8's hard. One trick you can do is exhale like you're blowing out of a straw. So like,
okay.
They can't hear me, but exhale, like purse your lips and then exhale like you're blowing out of a straw. So you're not like, like breathing out like all this air.
Your car's just fogging up.
Yeah. So exhale like feel like you're breathing out of a straw. Just breathe in through your nose for 3 counts, 4 counts, whatever. Exhale for double the length of time, and then just say some good things to yourself. Like my favorite 2 words, like if you have a hard time with self-compassion, is just well done. Well done.
Say it in an accent.
Just well done. Like
Say it in an accent.
I literally talk to myself all the
Well
time.
done.
Like, I'm just so proud of you, Chelsea. That was hard AF. We got in the car. We're good. We're on our way.
Yeah.
Like, we'll do better next time. All right. Like,
Just positivity.
Just self-compassion and then breathing, trusting that breathing will work. I mean, that's truly the only thing that's keeping people from saying that, like, I mean, of course, I've got so many other regulating techniques. If that doesn't resonate with you, of course, it's not going to resonate with everybody. But but again, the only reason that we don't trust in breathwork is that we don't believe in it. Because a lot, just human experience, right? We want that dopamine. We want the quick fix. We want the quick answer. And like, if we feel like it's not happening fast enough or helping fast enough, then we just automatically, throw it in the trash. But consistency is actually the key to regulating your nervous system. It might not work. No matter what exercises you try, it might not feel like it's working in the beginning, but it's because your body has been living. I mean, think about it.
See?
How old are we? You've been living in chronic stress for so long. You think you're just going to breathe a couple times and your body's like, all right, I'm good. Like, no, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Consistency is key. You got to do it every time. Every time your child is throwing a tantrum, breathe or pick up somatic practice that you like, whatever that is. Really, I mean, honestly, again, breath is the only direct access we have to the nervous system. So it is powerful. It's the number one.
Good.
So breathe and just trust yourself. Trust that it will work. Trust that consistency will make it feel better. And you'll just start to feel like, oh my gosh, I can kind of sit in this now. And it's not as big of a deal as it was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
But it's really about, that's how we rewire our nervous system is and do the opposite of what your body instinctually wants to do. So so if your child's crying and you want to run away, sit with it. Or if your child's crying and you want to yell, the yelling is a harder
Yell
thing,
into
right?
a
The yelling is a
pillow?
harder thing. Yeah, like you're screaming to a pillow, yell into a pillow. But
I'm not a yeller. Listen, this was the listener question.
I'm a yeller, and as you're talking about all this, it's like I love all of it, but I keep thinking like I wish I want my daughter to know this.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're already in teenage years, and
that's why we do it.
She's gone to therapy, and like she's learned. That's why I know the 5, 7, 8, like because of her. But I'm just like, man, how much time have I invested for? Which is great, which was good for her to kind of. She needed some healing. She still does. I mean, she's still growing, but to think like. I didn't take the time to like work on myself. So like she was going to therapy, they were talking about things, and she'd come home to me and I'd be like, what are you doing? Like, you know what I mean? I mean, I try not to yell, but like, obviously we get worked up to a certain point. And so
with the yelling, this is hard, but this is pretty much with that. If you don't have like access to healing, you got to practice pausing. Yeah. So notice, I'm getting that instinct in me is coming up, anger, and I want to yell.
Yeah.
Try to just pause. Like when you know, that's why awareness is key. We can't fix what we don't know.
Yeah.
So you got to notice like, oh my gosh, I feel this urge to yell right now. Once you bring awareness, then you can start to stop it. So like once you feel the urge to yell and you notice it's coming up, like again, turn around. Don't look at them. Like literally you're changing your focus. You're changing what you're looking at, right? Because we take in sensory input through our eyes and through our, mainly through our eyes, but like our eyes, ears, like our environment. So even just turning around and like pause, and then you'll be like, okay, it'll just reconnect you back to like what you really want to say, how you really want to respond.
Yeah.
And then again, you can breathe. Or like my favorite one for anger is like put your palms together. Like put your palms together and then like push really hard. Like push really hard into your palms, your fingers, and just push and push, because this is like getting energy flowing out, like energy moving. So really that's nervous system energetics. When you're in fight or flight, your energy, like you're getting massive amounts of energy, right? Like to like get your car and get my daughter, pull her out of the street and protect her from being hit by a car, right?
Yeah.
So it's like when we're in fight or flight, we want to, essentially from scientific terms, we want to discharge that energy. So you discharge that energy by shaking. Like that's one of my favorites. Shaking, like
I was
literally.
Gonna say, what about
I do dance parties. I do dance parties with my daughter. Shake, not like try to just let it all go, like a loose shake. Pressing, like if you feel anger, like with the triggered moments, like pressing your hands together, and you'll feel like until you start to shake, or sometimes you will. I mean, in the beginning, I cried, like just pushing my hands together and feeling that energy moving, letting that anger come up and out of me instead of getting stored into the body. It like made me cry, and it's like that's the release that our body needs. So either practice the pause, like bring awareness, pause, turn around, leave the room for a second, whatever. Discharge some energy, discharge that fight or flight energy, shake, yell into the pillow, push your hands together, progressive muscle relaxation. So like you just squeeze your entire body, like squeeze your arms and like your whole body, like, like think about it like when you're fighting off a bear, LOL. We're primitive and this is our biology. Like what did you do? Like when you're angry, you like, like squeeze your muscles and you tense up. Like that will help discharge the energy, right? So like just squeeze your muscles and like let some of the energy out. And I promise, do it now. I promise you'll feel so much better. Like squeeze your muscles, squeeze them, your fingers, your toes, all the things, squeeze. Right? Do it all. Squeeze and then let go. And you're like, oh my God, okay, I feel better.
Yeah.
And then you can respond differently. So
my husband is very like, he knows I'm a crier. Like no matter what, if we're having a conversation again, like I'm crying. Now?
No, you did. I'm just picturing y'all like talking about groceries. Lauren's like,
I have to go again. Now I'm going to implement some of these things. But I was thinking the dance move for you, like when you feel like you want to yell, you can't be mad after you bust a dance move.
I mean, look, when Chelsea said that, she took time thinking like you can control these things and you can figure it out yourself. I'm not saying I figured it out, but I've kind of learned a few of these things. So like the main reason I learned it is because I've passed on my traits. And so my daughter yells when she gets angry. And I'm like, I watched her and I was like, I am so sorry I did that to you. Like, I was like, I definitely passed that on. And she's like, what do you mean? And I'm just like, like at that point, like I've learned to like, okay, I'm like, Kai, we gotta talk to each other correctly. I was like, I know I did this. I was like, so we gotta work through it. But those things, like, I try and take a pause. Don't get me wrong. I still yell. It's been something that I've done her entire life. But like, I see it, and like sometimes I'll be able to control it, but there's a lot of times that I'm not. So like taking these into like effect would be great. But I
think a big step is that you recognize it, though.
Oh, I recognize so much stuff within her. So I'm like, oh, like,
that's good that you recognize it.
I did you disservice.
And you can still change. You can still change. She can still change. Like, our brains are, well, they say plastic, right? Like, that just means like they can change. They can change. Yeah. We can change. We can teach our daughters, just by, repair, which I'm sure you guys have heard, is just as important. Being able to go back and like take ownership of what we're doing instead of like pretending like it didn't happen. Like being able to go back and be like, you know what, I'm sorry, I'm working on my stuff too, like let's work on it together. And almost like that's kind of like a cool relationship for you guys, because you're like, let's work on it together,
Yeah, she's like, get out of here.
I always tell my boys, like, it's my first time living on earth too. Like, I'm going to make mistakes, and I'm going to try to do whatever I can to not put my trauma on you, I guess.
And especially as moms, like, there's no manual. There's literally no manual to motherhood.
No.
Like, nothing. And like, nobody taught us any of this. And like, you can read all the books and do all the things, and like, you still get into motherhood and you're like, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah. All right. Hey guys.
Hey.
We actually made this episode a 2-parter. Did I say episode right? We actually made this episode. I feel like I cut it short. I was like, what?
Well, we are cutting it short today. We are splitting Chelsea's episode into 2 parts because she has so much wisdom, and we figured, why not give you some more wisdom next week as well. So tune in next week to finish her episode.
Yes, we hope you enjoy what you've listened to so far. Come back next week because it gets even better.
Yes, it does.
All right.
Love y'all.
Peace out.
Are you ready to elevate your brand?
Or are you still working on Canva logos until 2 a.m.?
Let Collective Dallas handle it.
They worked with Fortune 500s to small side hustles like your cousin's biz.
Web design, branding, they do it all.
Visit collectivedallas.com and let the pros handle it.
And if you want to run ads on our podcast,
email us at didwereallypodcast@gmail.com, and we'll make your ad sound just as good.